After 3.0's very long archonquest, we were left with some answers about Sumeru, but a lot more questions to think about. What were the sinister motivations of the academia? How does Irminsul affect the future of Tevat? And is Rukhdevata really dead? Before we get into these questions, I do want to say, I don't believe Rukhdevata is alive. But it is hard to believe everything that we've been told about her death until now. In order to speculate, let's look at everything that we know about Rukhdevata's death. When we read Sumeru, we enter a dreamlike state where we see red skies in Irminsul, which the traveler and Paimon theorize is the time of the cataclysm. This is later confirmed by Nahida as well. We also hear a voice coming from the tree. When we are first told about Rukhdevata, we are informed about her disappearance and how the Lesser Lord Kusanali is the new Archon. While telling us the timeline of Rukhdevata's death, Nahida says that Rukhdevata disappeared after the disaster of Kandya. She also mentions earlier in the quest that when the sages went to find Rukhdevata, they were disappointed to find Kusanali, who was a symbol of Rukhdevata's passing. The death itself was not witnessed by anyone, and the sages were the ones that declared that the Lesser Lord Kusanali was the new Archon. While the fact that no one saw Rukhdevata dying cannot be proof that she may still be alive, there seems to be a certain mystery attached to the circumstances of her death, which may be connected to the Irminsul tree or Kusanali herself. Now that we know all of this, why is there a doubt about Rukhdevata's death? My speculation is that Nahida or Kusanali isn't a new Archon. She is a continuation of Rukhdevata. Let me explain. Everything that Kusanali knows about herself is through the sages who took her to Sarasthana and the Akasha system. But she also told us that she was the first Akasha terminal and her consciousness has always been linked to the Akasha. Kusanali believes that Rukhdevata was so omniscient and omnipotent that even after her death, she is able to empower Sumeru through the Akasha technology, and that it runs because of the power of the Gnosis. But what if the reason that the Akasha system still functions even after the death of Rukhdevata is because Kusanali is an extension of her? Before the archonquest came out, a parable in one of the Enkanomiya books, Before Sun and Moon, was speculated to be the story of Kusanali. The reason for this was a mild similarity between this parable and the Kusanali Jataka. In the story, a king orders the cutting down of a spirit tree, but the gardener who does not wish to do so is advised by the priest, plant the spirit tree's branches in the ground, as the spirit tree shall take 500 years to grow, and your one thought shall echo through eternity. Instantly, a new tree was born, and it was a continuation of the past one. The echoing thought and the continuation of the tree made this parable stand out to me. But perhaps this is just a parable and it means something else. Moving on to the next unanswered question. Why did the Academia sages conduct the Subzeros Dream Samsara? In Act 2 of the archonquest, we find out that we are not stuck in a loop of the same day and the people of Sumeru do dream. The sages perpetuated lies that the people of Sumeru are most rational and that dreams are delusional and foolish, while in reality, they used the Akasha terminals to make everyone dream the same dream. The consciousness of these people was placed in the collective dream of the Subzeros festival, and their vacant dreams were harvested by the Academia. But what does harvesting these dreams give the sages? Nahida says that dreams are an endless source of imagination and ideas, and that when these dreams are stolen and people are made to dream the same dream repeatedly, it causes mental fatigue. Dunyarzad's body is unable to take this continued dream state because she is already weak because of Elizar. It is implied that the harvesting of these dreams is a source of energy to fuel the sage's greater plan. But what could this plan be? At the beginning of the archonquest, Tignari is asked to help the sages out with a secret project, which he denies. But it is mentioned that the letter that was sent to him contained no information about the project itself, only that he assists them. The academia's secret project could be anything. The Eremites talked about wanting to resurrect the Scarlet King. Maybe the sages are trying to revive Rukhdevata. While it would be interesting to see this happen, I believe the academia might not be as loyal to Rukhdevata as they want us to believe. At the end of the Inazuma conquest, Yai tells us this about Sumeru. Sumeru is the land of the god of wisdom, where the quest for wisdom and knowledge is never ending. But their obsession gives rise to some truly inexplicable things. She also says knowledge is a resource, and she does not know whether the sages or the lesser Lord Kusanali came up with this idea. This quest for wisdom is perhaps what makes them send people again and again to Irminsul, even though it causes them harm. What the sages are after is not Rukhdevata herself, but the knowledge in Irminsul, and they are ready to do anything to get there. Irminsul is the ancient tree whose roots reach every corner of the world, also known as the World Tree. The petrified roots of this tree are the ley lines. The doors of resurrection are the root tips of this very tree, which are said to give new life to anyone who touches them. The ley lines that are the roots of this tree are said to remember all things that happen in this world, an endless source of information. The Akasha terminals, which are also a source of information, are hardly endless. They begin with Kusanali and end with everyone that wears them. As opposed to the well-connected system of the World Tree, the Akasha system falls short in many ways. It is clear why the sages would want this for themselves. Wisdom is a resource in Sumeru, and the Akasha terminal provides a limited amount of this resource, while Irminsul is limited by nothing. In the dream where we see Irminsul, the tree is falling apart. Was it a part of the cataclysm? Or did Celestia specifically aim to destroy this omniscient tree that contains all the secrets of the world? While everyone praises Rukhdevata's legacy, her creation of the rainforest, the Akasha system, and describe her as omniscient and omnipotent, why does the remainder of her consciousness say, "World, forget me"? What is it that Rukhdevata wants us to forget? Although the only people who have successfully heard her voice are Kusanali and the Traveler. Did she intend this message for Kusanali? Did she want everyone to forget everything she did? Dainsleif in the Travail trailer says,
"The god of wisdom's enemy is wisdom itself, and the oasis of knowledge is a mirage in the desert of ignorance."
The sages have been trying to reach Irminsul to gain the wisdom within the tree, and are clearly ready to risk it all. This pursuit for wisdom seems to be the legacy left to them by the greater Lord Rukhdevata, a civilization that values rationality above all, and knowledge which they believe to be the ultimate resource. But what if the god of wisdom realized that this search for the ultimate resource would lead her people to ruin? Nahida told us that if the dream samsara state had continued, it would have dire consequences. Is this endless pursuit for wisdom the enemy that Dainsleif talks about? Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. Do let me know your own theories about the rest of the Sumeru storyline, and I personally am hoping that the sages are trying to revive Rukhdevata, because then we'll have 2 archons and it will be very interesting. That's it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.